And a very warm welcome once again from the Makuhara Messe Hall, where we're ready for some more goalball action. Two cracking matches and great for the home fans. Coming up later, Lithuania against Japan in the men's Group A. But first up, it's Japan against the United States of America in women's Group D. Now, both these teams have enjoyed wins in the competition so far. A perfect record for the USA. Strong favourites for the title at Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. But Japan have national pride at stake. Mary Bai Hooking of the United States warming up, eye shades on. As at the far end, the final preparations are made to the courts with the players getting fully warmed up. Goalball is a sport for the visually impaired. We'll go through the rules and regulations as we go along. But as things stand in Group D, the United States of America second on goal difference to Turkey. With 6 points from the two games played, those two will battle it out in the final match of this Group D. They'll be sizing each other up, watching the matches as they are completed. 4 teams going through, out of the 5 into the knockout stages. So Japan lost their opening match, 7-1 by a very strong-looking RPC. But they led Brazil 3-0 after the first half of their second match and held on for a 4-4 draw against another highly fancied team. The USA, a perfect 2 from 2. 6-4 opener against Brazil. And then against the young, inexperienced Egyptian side, a 10-0 victory. Amanda Dennis, joint third top scorer at Tokyo 2020. 7 goals for her in 2 games. So, goalball. Let me tell you about that net. It is 9 metres wide, stretches the entire width of the court, which is the size of a volleyball court. And you can see the players making sure that surface is spick and span because they use their hands to locate their position. As Amanda Dennis shows, just touching the line, which has a string underneath it. The white tape is for those who can see to work out what's happening on the court. The string is for the players to know exactly where they are. Goalball, a sport specifically for the visually impaired. No adaptations needed. It is goalball all the way, and you won't see this one at the Olympic Games. It's a Paralympic special. So 6 vertical stripes across the court as we're looking at it from the camera position. Divide those into 3 sections. You've got the landing zone at each end and the neutral zone in the middle. The ball has to touch all 3 zones. Otherwise, a penalty will be given. The ball has to be played underarm. And speaking of the ball, it's 1.25 kilograms in weight. Has 8 holes drilled in it, so you can hear the bells because the players rely on sound to locate the ball. Japan already have their eyes patched up. That's the plasters that look like they've been put over the eyes. We can see Asia Miller just getting her eyes taped up now. This is because the levels of visual impairment vary from player to player, and it's important that everybody is on a level playing field. The eyes are taped up, and then an eye shade will be placed on top. 2 referees in goalball. Our representative from Canada and Thailand will be in charge. You'll be hearing from these 2 as the match goes on. They're mic'd up to make things easier for the players to hear. And we have plenty of hooters, honks and whistles. That hooter telling us there's 5 minutes before the players need to be on, ready to play. You'll hear another hooter around a minute before play starts. That's when we have the eye shade check by the referees. But in these final few minutes, a little bit of a pat on the hand, a little bit of encouragement from the teammates, and a little bit of preparation. Urata Lie with a big smile on her face there. What a Paralympic Games it's been for her. chosen to represent the athletes at the opening ceremony with the Paralympic oath. As Jake Tchaikovsky speaks to his American squad there, all huddled around. Looks like the Japanese starting three are already on the court. Don't want to give away a game delay penalty by not being in the right place at the right time. 12 minutes aside. So the match is 24 minutes in length with a half time of just 3 minutes. In ordinary circumstances, the teams would change ends, but in these pandemic times, so the players don't have to move from their technical zone, they will stay as they are. The USA will be on the right, as the TV pictures show, and Japan will play from left to right. 3 positions in goalball as well, centre, and you have a left wing and a right wing. Traditionally, the centre, a more defensive player, doesn't necessarily take as many shots as the left and the right wing. But that does vary from team to team. We have some spectators in the arena today. The marvellous Makuhari Messe Hall. Asia Miller, the number 4 from the USA. Her back to us, Lisa Tchaikovsky, and that's her husband with the peaked cap on, the coach of this side. Amanda Dennis, the 3rd top scorer in the tournament so far. 7 goals in 2 games, which makes it an average of 3.5 a match. Eliana Mason, she has put in 4, the number 7 for the United States. Has her eyes patched up there. And we see Hagiwara Norika, Uata Lie, and the number 8, Wagasuri Huraka, waiting to get in action. Looks like those are the starting 3 for Japan. And Hagiwara making her Paralympic Games debut, the number 6. Uata Lie, this is her 4th Paralympic Games, a healthcare worker. Won that gold medal in London after a thrilling match, a final against China. Just 1 goal in that match, but a gold medal for Japan. And her teammate Wagasugi Hiraka was alongside her on that top step of the podium in London 2012. Final few words of wisdom from Jake Tchaikovsky. The team bonding as the players go back to check that they are properly patched up and ready. And the referees now on court with the eye shade check. So the eye shades are blackout shades. They have a foam lining to make them a little more comfortable on the face. Hot and sweaty, you can imagine how itchy they get. But they're a soft plasticky rubber, so no hard or sharp edges for when a ball may be taken to the face. A little bit of cushioning there to try and soften the blow. The ball can travel up to 40 kilometers an hour though, so a 1.25 kilogram ball in the face is not comfortable. As well as our 2 match referees, we've got 4 goal judges standing on each of the lines to make sure that the ball is scored. It has to cross the line in its entirety for it to be a goal. No VAR, 4 officials taking care to see that the ball crosses the line. Starting lineup for the United States. Maribai Huking making her first start for the USA here in Tokyo. Amanda Dennis, one of the few players in this tournament who is ambidextrous, can throw with either right or left arm. And a familiar setup for the Japanese. Murata Lie over on the left wing. Let's hear from our referees.
On my right, I would like to remind everyone to switch off your mobile phone and please keep quiet while the ball is in play. Thank you. USA start with the ball. Quiet, please. Center.
So Maribay Hukin over in the centre at the moment. Amanda Dennis will get things underway. Spinning, rotating, getting some power on the ball like a discus thrower, trying to get every ounce of speed out of that ball. Back up the field of play by Uatalie. It's Dennis again for the USA. Japan choosing a smooth ball to progress up the field. A quick exchange of shots here. Maribay Hukin passing the ball over to Eliana Mason. Off the feet of Ri Urata. Both teams just getting a feel for the ball. Amanda Dennis building up for a big power shot down the line. Just goes wide. Listening keenly for those bells in the ball. And a thump as it's stopped by Hagiwara. Wakasugi bounces up. So if a player blocks the ball out, it stays with them. If they deliberately put the ball out of play, it's a turnover or a ball over to their opponents. And you sometimes see that when the clock is ticking down, because in goalball, each team only has 10 seconds of possession before the ball needs to be on its way. Longer than 10 seconds and you face a penalty, which is 1-to-1. The person who commits the penalty will take on an opponent who has a shot at goal. So quite a brisk start to this match. Just under 10 minutes to go in the first half. Japan 0, USA 0. Murata's feet stopping that one. Coming over to the right wing for Hagiwara. No, that's Eliana Mason. Swapping wings, over to the right, crosses back to the left into defence. Wakasugi is blocked by Maribay Hukin, who stamps up the playing surface to try and convince her opponents that the ball is coming up on the right wing. But Amanda Dennis had in fact gone into the centre, where she takes up her defensive position. Passes over to Eliana Mason. And again, Maribay Hukin just trying to convince the Japanese that maybe the ball is going on the left when it's actually coming on the right. That's a lovely ball. And a great stop from Hagiwara. And Dennis with the stretch. Down on her right-hand side, pushing the ball out. Laying out is the term for the players lying on the ground, trying to make their bodies as long as possible. Listening intently for that ball, hoping it's not going to go in the air and go silent. So Eliana Mason down the left wing. Safely put out by Hagiwara. Here's Wakasugi. Down the middle. Feet acting as hands for Hukin, as Dennis spins and drops the ball down. Denied again. Now you'll hear some different noises. That ball, if it crosses the halfway line, could be a problem. You've got 10 seconds to play the ball, remember. It crosses the halfway line, it's ball over, the opposition get possession. But it was safely recovered there by Hooking. Dennis. One of the most talented and powerful players in the women's game. Has moved to live in Germany with her husband Michael, who plays in the German national squad. Making that move just before the pandemic hit. Now you're going to hear some sometimes perhaps peculiar and strange noises as the Japanese point to the line, suggesting maybe the Japanese technical team, the coaches, suggesting maybe it had been a high ball, not given. Referees watching those lines to make sure the ball lands in every section of the court. And that's largely to stop players from getting too much speed on the ball, which is the other reason why the ball isn't thrown overarm. Take some of the speed off the ball. So many of these talented goalball players that we have here at the Paralympic Games, which is the pinnacle of goalball competition, have found ways to put a draw or a fade, bit of a curve, a banana ball on there. The Brazilians play a ball slam between the legs, a reverse slam to get as much speed on the ball as possible. Two-handed shot. But for most, it's this rotational spin, the ball up in the air. That's dangerous territory for the Japanese players. But it was safely recovered. Strong performance by Hooking in the centre here for the United States of America. Just coming up to 5.5 minutes left of this first half. We have a timeout called. Japan 0, USA 0. So a strong defensive performance by the Japanese so far. Big smile from Urata, the number 2, the centre for Japan. So the whole of the United States squad coming over, listening in to what coach Jake Tchaikovsky has to say. So the hooter reminded people it's 15 seconds to get back into the technical area and for the players on court to be ready to play. The players are not allowed to touch those eye shields at all, even when there's a break in play. That would be a penalty. The eye shades must remain untouched until half-time. And then at the start of the second half, we have another eye shade check, and that one just denied for Eliana Mason. The upright, keeping it off and out of the goal. The post, no friend to the Americans in that case. Amanda Dennis, though, thinks that she can find a way through. Spins, rotates. So an official timeout equipment check is usually an eye shade check by one of the officials. We're just going to make sure that none of the eye shades have slipped. Sometimes a player puts their hand up in the air so that... if that had been slightly to the right of the post, that would have been in for Eliana Mason. She had Wakasugi beaten, but the post was in the way. Amanda Dennis, just under 5 minutes to play in this first half. And she finds the net, bowling the ball down the line. Amanda Dennis is absolutely on target. She's got an unerring knack of finding that goal, sending it down with the left hand, pulling it into the left wing of that Japanese net. She gives the United States the lead. It's Japan 0, USA 1. And And Japan reply with a goal of their own, straight from the off. Urata Lie from the centre, taking the ball, smoothly running it up the court. Quiet, a little skippy bounce, and just going underneath the outstretched arms of Eliana Mason. So just after the Americans had taken the lead, it's actually Hagiwara Norika who scores the goal, the number 6 for Japan. 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Japan 1, USA 1 in this first half. Just when it looked like the goals were a little few and far between, we get 2 within a few seconds. Hagiwara. Down that right wing again, returned by Eliana Mason. Legs out from Urata. Wakasugi comes into the centre. Tries to go for the angle, but she's a little wide. Athletes using their feet and their hands to feel the string on those lines. Just to find their position. Reset, back to centre. Talking to each other. I'm here. Getting out of each other's way. Bit of a bouncer from Eliana Mason. Not enough. Japan testing the right wing of the American defence, but Amanda Dennis is there. She spins, she rotates, gets a bounce on the ball. Wakasugi, quick to return it. Hukin. She spins, she rotates. She looks for the gap. Just out of the reach of Urata, but Wakasugi strong with the legs behind her. Into the hands of Eliana Mason. So equipment check is an opportunity for one of the court officials to come on and check the tape, which has got lifted on the left-hand side of the Japanese goal mouth. It's one of the orientation lines. And they can't be permanent lines because the string has to be placed on the playing surface. And to make sure that it's not trampled down in between matches, a fresh bit of tape and a fresh bit of string is put in each time. The Americans using this as a chance to chat to their coaches. All coaching can happen so long as the whistle hasn't gone. Any talking outside the whistle will be penalised. So you can hear the coaches on both sides there as the magic tape comes out and the string gets replaced. Not only is it a problem because the athletes can't find where they are on the court, it's also a trip hazard, which is not ideal. This playing surface rejecting the tape in places. We've seen it taped up a couple of times in some of the matches. Wakasugi gets play back underway as we come up to 3 minutes to go in this first half. Japan 1, USA 1. That's a good stop by Eliana Mason, right on top of the ball. Amanda Dennis. Just slightly off target, goes wide on the left wing of Japan's goal. Down the centre. Wakasugi. That's a good block by Eliana Mason. Just on the wrong side of the line, on the left-hand side of the field of play as she perceives it. So Mary Bai Huking spins, rotates, gets the ball down. Blocked by Wakasugi, who comes over to the right side, aiming for the left-hand corner of the USA goal. So we have a substitution coming on. Lisa Tchaikovsky looks like she is coming on. Eliana Mason goes off for now. It's not a permanent substitution in goalball. Just because you go off, it doesn't mean you can't come back on again. Now, the teams can make full substitutions across the 24 minutes of the match, but if they don't make a substitution in the first half, they lose one. So you can only make 3 substitutions in the second half. A chance for coach Jake Tchaikovsky, husband of Lisa Tchaikovsky, to have a quick word with the team. Amanda Dennis nodding. She hears what he says. So the lineup for the States: Tchaikovsky, Huking, Dennis. Dennis has the ball over on the right wing. Aims for the centre of the court. Uata stops the ball. Hajiwara down the right-hand side as she perceives the court. Lisa Tchaikovsky blocks that. First touch of the ball for her. Now she gets a throw. That's a bouncer, but it bounced on the wrong side of that centre line, so she must now face a penalty. 1-on-1. She's got to try and hear where this ball is coming and stop it from going in that 9-metre wide goal. The Japanese can choose who they want to take it. Hajiwara finds the net for Japan and puts them up in front. A straightforward penalty from the number 6, the youngest player on the Japanese squad, but showing such maturity in these Paralympic Games. Tokyo 2020 being really good to her. So, just under 2 minutes to play. Japan 2, USA 1 in this first half. 12 minutes to come in the second. A little bird sound from one of the Japanese players. Wagasugi, seeing if she could fool the Americans into thinking the ball was coming on the other side, but Tchaikovsky is wise to that. Smooth roll up the court from her. Hajiwara. Blocked by Huking. Amanda Dennis, one of the greats. It's blocked by Urakta Lie. Blocked again by Dennis, 27 years old. Started playing goalball when she was 7. Lisa Tchaikovsky. And I think the hope of many goalballers around the globe is that the Paralympic Games will inspire a lot more younger players to take up the sport. Many of those playing here at Tokyo 2020, relatively late to the game, coming into it in their teens or later. You see someone like Amanda Dennis, who started at 7, and you see why she has all the skills. So we have a timeout. 52.1 seconds on the clock in this first half. Japan leading 2-1 over the United States of America, who have 2 wins from their 2 matches so far. Japan beaten convincingly by the RPC in their opener 7-1, and despite leading Brazil 3-0 in the first half, held on for a 4-4 draw against another very strong side. The Brazilian, historically a great team. Tchaikovsky. Hajiwara. The sound of the ball, all the players have to go on. Stopped by the legs of Wagasugi. Huking. Locating the ball just by sound. Nicely blocked out by Wagasugi. On the left wing. Hagiwara. And it's Dennis into the last 10 seconds of this first half. Looking for a big finish. They won't get another shot, though, because That is the end of this first half. And surprisingly, it is Japan who lead the United States. Japan 2, USA 1. So Japan in control of this match, but things change very quickly in goalball. Hajiwara getting the first goal of the game and then scoring a second from a penalty. Great piece of defensive work from the Americans. The post has played its part in this first half. Textbook Amanda Dennis getting that goal for the States. Hajiwara looking strong. So, a half-time break of just 3 minutes. Counting down. Let's take a look at those statistics. The Americans making one penalty, or awarded one penalty, and let's try that again, shall we? The Americans giving up a penalty. It was a high ball by Lisa Tchaikovsky, and Hajiwara making them pay for that. So we're going through the process of the eye shade check once again. Half-time, the player's able to take them off and towel down. The gauze patch is still in place. And the eye shade's going back on. With the referee taking them off, holding them up to the lights, checking for any chinks, any damage to the eye shades in that first period of play. So Japan lead the defending champions of the USA. 2-1 at half-time. And it is as you were at the end of this half for both teams. The United States. Amanda Dennis, Mary Bay Huking, Lisa Tchaikovsky. A goal down to Japan in this Group D match, the penultimate round-robin match.
Second half, Japan on my left, USA on my right. Half-time score, Japan 2, USA 1. Half-time, Japan start with the ball. Quiet, lead, center.
Atelier handing the ball over to Hajiwara and Norika. She comes up the court, ducks inside, just looks to try and test Amanda Dennis over there on the right wing for the USA. Huking in the centre, Lisa Tchaikovsky on the left wing. Another bouncer from Amanda Dennis, and the post denies her again. Such a dangerous ball down that right wing from the United States. Wakasugi putting the ball up and quickly getting back into a defensive position. Tchaikovsky has a go. Smooth. Hajiwara by Huking, who has her hair plaited and the plaits are sticking up out of the band of her eye shade. Hajiwara. Moves to the centre. Looks to see if she can get the better of Huking. But no. The American is standing strong. Lying flat out, strong in defence. 11 minutes to go in this Group D match between Japan and the United States. And the Americans are down by a goal. It's Japan 2, USA 1. Historically, the Japanese are famed for their defence. And while that would be useful, it's just one goal. And when you're playing against Amanda Dennis, that can be curtailed pretty quickly. Wakasugi blocking that one out. Her 28th throw of the match so far. We're at the Lie, yet to actually throw the ball. In the centre, acting in a very defensive role, marshalling those two wingers. Wakasugi. Throw 29 for her. Quietly listening there, and Meribay Hooking stamping her foot a little bit. As the Japanese try a little deception of their own. Agiwara walking and running up on the right as the ball's played on the left. This is Amanda Dennis. Power can get her through. Agiwara. Stopped by Dennis. Slowed up by Hooking. Taken over by Tchaikovsky. Smooth roll down the left wing from the American left winger. Taken over to the left wing of the Japanese. Caught. Amanda Dennis. Tchaikovsky. Hooking really proving to be a tight unit for the USA, but the goals aren't coming for them yet. Tchaikovsky traps that ball under her hip. Clocked up 16 goals before this match at the USA. They scored a mercied win over Egypt on day 3, which meant there were 10 goals clear when the match was stopped. So we're at the Lie calling for an equipment check. Her eye shades have gone all wonky. She'll take them off, reset them with the referee watching. Little chat from the Japanese support unit with coach Ichikawa Koichi and assistant coach Kato Emi. Keeping note of those statistics. Another equipment check down the other end. Meribay Hooking getting those pigtails out from underneath her eye shade. It's an elastic band around the back of her head. I think that'll be a little bit more comfortable for her. Lisa Tchaikovsky feeling her way into position. Wakasugi in the middle. No rotation from her. Hooking passes the ball to Amanda Dennis. She's moved out far on the right wing. Left-handed, puts the ball back in play. That's blocked out. A nice block by Lisa Tchaikovsky, the number 3 of the USA. And Uraka Rie, fearless, throwing her body in front of the ball, blocking that ball out.
We've asked for a full like 3 times, please. So yes or no? Time out.
Time out, USA.
What are we doing wrong? Officials, please let us know what we need to do.
So the USA coach wanting to know what they were doing wrong, not being spotted when he wanted to call the timeout. But Japan must be delighted to be ahead. There's a long way to go in this match. 7 minutes, 51 seconds of the second half to play. Japan 2, USA 1. And so far, it's not been easy for the USA to get past this tight unit. Wakasugi, Urata, Hajiwari working together so well. Lisa Tchaikovsky will get play back underway, waits for the whistle. Comes into the centre, rolls it up, puts some height on it, it bounces in, and Japan have extended their lead over the United States, the reigning Paralympic Games champions. 7 minutes and 21 seconds to play in the second half, and Japan lead the USA 3-1. And once that ball gets in the air, it's so difficult to locate for the players. Wakasugi Haruka getting the breakthrough against the great USA. Japan playing with quiet confidence. Hajiwara. So the USA look like they're bringing Eliana Mason back on. And Mary Bay Huhin makes way for Eliana Mason. So Mary Bay playing a great game there. Very strong in the centre. 17 minutes of the 24 in this match. And Eliana Mason comes back on the field, having made way for Lisa Tchaikovsky earlier. The scorer of the only goal for the USA, Amanda Dennis, contemplating how she can break down this Japanese defence. She has the ball. Sticks her tongue out. Grits her teeth as she goes to spin the ball. Doesn't look comfortable. Hajiwara. Murata-Lie. Safely back to Wakasugi. Looks to get past Lisa Tchaikovsky, but she's down and smothers the ball. Just feel that the American team's a little bit rattled. Not communicating as well as they were earlier. Just bumping into each other a little bit. This Japanese setup, all as it was at the start of this match. Eliana Mason has a go down the right-hand side of the court. Japan calling a timeout. 6 minutes, 10 seconds to go. Japan 3, USA 1. The Paralympic Games hosts leading the Paralympic Games champions by 2 goals. Warming up on the floor. Takehata Aiko, Takahashi Lieko, both available to come on for Japan, but they're staying with their starting 3. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, is a saying. Japan get the ball back in play. And Mason and Dennis have that covered. With a left hand Amanda Dennis sends that down the centre. A big, powerful shot up in the air, off the feet, into the back of the net. The USA have pulled a goal back. Just under 6 minutes to play in this second half. And such power from that left hand of Amanda Dennis under Uratalie, off the feet of Hajiwara Norika. It's just one goal in it, just less than 6 minutes to play. Japan 3, USA 2. Dennis goes down, back in defence after her spectacular attack. She's going again, spins out of court. And just a little too far out of court that time. Ball over to Japan. Wakasugi. Number 6, Hajiwara. Lisa Tchaikovsky. Testing Uratarai. Eliana Mason sends it back to Amanda Dennis. Winds up, spins. Goes for the right-to-hand wing of the Japan team, but Hajiwara is there. As Lisa Tchaikovsky does the same at the other end. She's going to have a go. She spins. It's the bounce that can do the damage in goalball. And yet a slow, smooth ball, a stealth ball, is equally dangerous. Okay, says Uratalie. Very quietly chatting and gently cheering each other on, the Japanese players. And the American team have gone very quiet. Coming up to 4 minutes to play in this Group D, penultimate match for the USA and Japan in the preliminary rounds of Tokyo 2020's goalball competition. Amanda Dennis blocking that and looking to see if she can power her way level against Japan, because it's the hosts who lead by a goal. 3 goals to 2, the score. Hajiwara goes to the centre, puts it out to the Americans' left wing. Tchaikovsky's got that. Sends it back. Even the distraction noises by the Japanese are gentle and soft. As you see, Uratalie finding herself back in the centre, using those lines to guide her. Oh, a little bit of confusion there from the Americans. So, substitution for the United States. Tchaikovsky heads back off the field. And it looks like Asia Miller is going to be coming on. Asia Miller, what a name in goalball history. She started her Paralympic career at Sydney in the year 2000. She played in Athens, Beijing, London, Rio. And here she is at the Tokyo Paralympic Games. Studied criminology at college, but works in PT, works as a coach. She's got a bronze, silver and a gold medal from the Paralympic Games, the full set. But there's always room for another gold medal, which is what the Americans are aiming for in Tokyo 2020. But at the moment, it's Japan who are leading. 3 goals to 2, 2.5 minutes to play in the match. Blocked out. Or blocked just on the centre line by Uratalier. Eliana Mason covers the ball, gets it back to Amanda Dennis. 10 seconds to play it. Just pops that over to the left wing. It's dispatched by Wakasugi. Timeout called by Japan. So a chance to get some more hydration in. It's hot work, picking yourself up and down off the ground, even in an air-conditioned arena like the Makuhari Messe. Well, Japan have their own gold medal to celebrate from the Paralympic Games. Champions in London 2012. Uratalier has that tucked away at home somewhere. A first Paralympic Games, though, for Hajiwara Noika, who has the ball and is about to get play underway as we head to just 2 minutes left in this Group D clash. Dennis takes the ball to the centre. Tongue out, twists, spins with the left arm over to the left wing of the Japanese goal. Wakasugi has that covered. And she looks to see what she can do down the middle. Dennis to Eliana Mason. And using her legs so effectively, Urata recovers the ball and then resets. Dennis to Asia Miller. First throw of the match. Spins, bounce, block, and return by Hajiwara. So, the Americans taking another timeout. There's something very relaxed about watching Asia Miller play. She seems to know that she's got all the time in the world. She makes 10 seconds look like an hour. That's what comes of experience in this sport. 41 years old. Japan. Plenty of experience there as well. Uratalier. 44 years old. She's had a great game in the centre for her country. As we head to 1 minute and 15 seconds left. Japan 3, USA 2. Amanda Dennis has the ball. Tucked in her left arm. Tongue out, spins, rotates. And the feet of Urata deflect the damage. Wakasugi puts it out and then picks it up, ready to play again. Dennis stops that with her feet. Tongue out, spins, rotates. Everybody has their way of playing a shot. And the right hand, big block there by Amanda Dennis. She's pleased with that. Right off the toes. Asia Miller now for the USA. 40 seconds to go. They are behind by 1, the USA. Japan taking their time, taking the 10 seconds they need. Another timeout by the USA. They've got just over half a minute left in this match. Japan are leading. 3-2. Uratalier can't help but smile. Maybe she can't believe this. It's a great performance so far against the Paralympic Games champions. Now, what's the plan from Team USA? As the clock ticks down, 15 seconds left of this timeout. Subs and technical crew to the technical zone. And team officials all need to be back behind, literally back in their box. before that hooter sounds. We wait for the whistle. Amanda Dennis has the ball. 27 seconds. 2 good plays left in this match. Wagasugi puts it down. Eliana Mason. So Asia Miller comes back off the court. And Lisa Tchaikovsky's coming back on for the USA with 14 seconds left on the clock. Japan staying cool at the far end. The eye shade check, necessary part of goalball to ensure fair play. So Tchaikovsky showing the umpire, the referee, should I say, that she has the eye shade in place. Japan sitting quietly in their defensive position, checking. They are ready to face an Amanda Dennis delivery. It's up in the air, but 5 seconds left in this match. Japan. And that will be a tactical timeout, which gives Japan the opportunity to begin their celebrations early, really, because they have 10 seconds to play the ball, and there's just 3.3 seconds left on the clock. Japan leading the USA 3-2. It's the result they wanted, but few would have expected this kind of performance from the Japanese. They have just kept out the American attacks at every opportunity. Timeout complete. They won't be squandering possession in the last 3.3 seconds of this match. They stand there, arms around each other, waiting for the whistle. Waiting for the clock to count down. The whistle. We'll have another 3 whistles. Or just the one. That's enough. And that is an excellent performance from the Japanese squad. Smiles aplenty from the national team, the hosts of Tokyo 2020. In their team huddle, an absolutely jubilant Japan. At the end of this Group D match, it's a victory for Japan. Japan 3, USA 2. Taking a bow, as they deserve. They rightly deserve to take a bow. And all holding hands to try and make sure that everybody knows which direction everybody else is facing. They're now facing the USA, applauding their opponents. The 2016 Paralympic Games champion USA defeated by the women of Japan. Kind of puts the cat among the pigeons in the group. Absolutely beaming smiles from this Japanese squad. Keeps them safe as we head towards the knockout stages of the competition. And the USA take a bow. Will go away and have a rethink ahead of their final game against the talented Turkey. So there's one for a screen grab for all the home nation fans. In Group D, Japan coming away with 3 points against the USA, winning by a goal and making so few errors. Fewer blocks, but more goals, and that's what counts at the end of the match. 3-2. Hajiwara doing the damage against the Americans. Two from open play and scoring a penalty as well. So, 3 games played, 1 drawn, 1 won for Japan, lifting them up to 4 points in the group. And the United States of America don't get to add to the 6 points they had already after their wins earlier in the competition over Egypt and Brazil. It's a tough one next for the United States when they face table-topping Turkey. Jubilant, joyous Japan after a sensational victory over the Paralympic champions, the United States of America, who just couldn't find a way to breach that defence, something the Japanese have perfected over the years and will take into their final match against Egypt. For the USA, it's a match against Turkey. But in the first match of this session, it's finished. The women of Japan 3, USA 2.
選抜メンバーはリトアニア代日本代表1番佐野優斗4番田口裕二5番山口亮太7番羽根野和也8番宮崎康生9番高島優太工藤力也さん杉山さやかさんそして河野葵さん
Hello, and it's a real pleasure to welcome you to this Group A goalball encounter between 2016 gold medalist Lithuania and Japan competing in the men's competition for the first time. Group A's been a group that's been full of surprises. Japan topped the group after they demolished the USA 11-1 on day 3. Lithuania, meanwhile, haven't yet replicated their gold-winning form from Rio. And as you can see, they currently sit in 4th position with just a single point after their draw with Algeria. But there's still a long way to go in this preliminary round, and there's plenty to play for today. And if this is your first time watching goalball, then you're going to see something very special indeed. You'll see the world's best visually impaired players throwing the ball at up to 60 kilometers per hour and hurling themselves across the court to block a ball that they're not able to see. And while the players complete their warm-up, let me tell you a bit more about this incredible sport. Well, goalball's a sport that's been uniquely designed for the visually impaired. There's no Olympic equivalent. And as you see, the athletes throw the ball around there. Let me start by telling you about the ball. It's about the size of a basketball. It's made of hard rubber, and it's got bells inside, so the visually impaired players can hear it coming. The aim is to score as many goals as you can, whilst also defending your own net, and the net runs all the way across the court. It's Kaneko Kazuya here. We're going to see a lot of him today, and I'm sure we'll see a few of his goals on the scoreboard. And as the players line up on court's about the same size as a volleyball court, and the lines are tactile, so players can feel their way around whilst the ball's in play. Each country has a squad of 6 players, but you can only have 3 on court at any one time. Traditionally, there's a centre player in the middle, traditionally the defensive heart of the team, with a wing player positioned either side, and normally that is where the goals come from, but in this tournament we've seen centres scoring incredible goals and we've seen wings making defensive blocks. You really do have to be a real all-rounder at this elite level. Just a few minutes before this first half begins. Each match has 2 12-minute halves, and there's a 3-minute break at half-time. You win the match if you have more goals than your opponent at the end of the game, or also if you get a lead of 10 points during the game, and the match will come to a premature end. Marius Zibelis practicing his rotation throw there. See a full range of throws over the next few days, and over the course of the match today, you'll see slower balls, you'll see faster balls, you'll see bouncing balls, spinning balls, you even see balls thrown through the legs. And it's that range of shots and the strategy of shot selection that makes goalball so exciting. And as the 5-minute hooter sounds, we'll soon be seeing the players going through what's called the patching process. This is where the players have their eye shades put on, supervised by the officials. It's the use of eye shades that means athletes with different levels of sight and different levels of impairment, they can play alongside each other side by side. Creates a level playing field and a fair competition. And it's totally forbidden for players to touch their eye shades during the match. If the eye shades are dislodged or if there's a problem, then the officials have to come onto court to deal with it. And there are today's officials from Australia and the Netherlands. We'll talk you through the rules as we go. But worth listening out for long ball and high ball. Those are the 2 most common penalties in goalball. For a throw to be valid, it has to bounce in both your own area of the court and also the neutral area in the middle. And if it doesn't bounce in those areas, then it's a penalty, and that's the most common form of penalty we'll see as they apply the tape. That tape is textured, so you'll see players feeling their way around using those lines. Really is impressive how they navigate their way around the court. And let's look at the two teams. First, Japan, ranked 10th in the world. Very promising side, just missed out on the quarterfinals at Worlds in 2018, and they've got off to a brilliant start to this tournament. One to watch, Kaneko Kazuya, number 7, really highly regarded young talent on the wing. Scored 7 against Algeria a few days ago. We'll expect to see him on the score sheet today. Now the Lithuania team. Lithuania world number 2, reigning men's champion. They won gold at Rio, where they won every single game. Genrik Pavliakanek was critical to that success. He's here with his 6th Paralympic Games. Justas Pazarauskas also vital to that success. Left-handed bounce shot really poses problems to the opposing side. And historically, that partnership between Pavliakanek and Pazarauskas has been very successful indeed. They haven't, by their own high standards, got off to the best start in this tournament. They'll be hoping to put that right today. We await the 90-second hooter. At that point, the officials will come onto court and just check the eye shades of the players. Make sure everything's above board. And this is where we discover the starting threes. For Japan, it's Sano Yuto, Kaneko Kazuya, and Kawashima Yuta. Slightly different to their starting 3 against the USA. Kawashima starting instead of Taguchi. So just a bit of variation there. But those 3 substitutes can come on, and I'm sure we'll be seeing them later on today. And now the Lithuanian starting 3. Pazarauskas, Brzezowskis, Pavliakanek. Again, slightly different to the starting 3 in the last match. No place in the starting 3 for Montvidas, the number 1. So both sides going for a fresh approach in this critical game in Group A. See the referees just going through the patching process now as we await a really critical game in what's a really competitive group, Group A. It's a group that features all 3 medalists from Rio 2016, all in one group, so a real group of death. And yet it's Japan who's been the best side so far, defeating the USA just a few days ago. Lithuania, meanwhile, with a tough start. Just 1 point on the board against Algeria.
This game is between Lithuania on my left and Japan on my right. I remind all spectators to turn their mobile phones off and remain quiet while the ball is in play. Lithuania, start with the ball. All right, please.
A reminder there from the referee. Absolute silence while the ball's in play. Vital for the players to be able to hear. And Lithuania, Japan. We're underway. It's Kaneko Kazuya on the left wing. It's the rotation throw. And it's an early goal from Kaneko Kazuya.
1-0.
Gets Japan off to the best possible start. Well, he went for the rotation throw. And Brzezowskis just couldn't get his hands on it.
Quiet, please.
Japan have an early lead. Here's Pavliakanek. Blocked out by Sano Yuto. That's Yuto with the throw. Rotation throw. Blocked by Brzezowskis. It's Pazarowskis with that bounce throw. Blocked by Kaneko. Rotation throw. Blocked by the legs of Pavlyukanek. You may have heard there's just some noises during the play, so it's a common tactic in goalball just to make some noises to distract and confuse the opposition. It's one of the many interesting things about this sport. And you're allowed to do it up until your teammate starts his throwing motion. And you'll hear all kinds of different noises. You'll hear singing, you'll hear banging on the court.
Quiet, please. Play.
Here's Kaneko. Starts in the center of court. Rotation throw. Comfortably blocked by Brzezowskis. Pavlyukanek. Cross court. Well blocked by Kaneko. Here's Sano Yuto on the right wing.
Blocked out.
It's blocked out.
Quiet, please. Clear.
Pazarowskis. Gathered by Kawashima, and here's Kaneko. Rotation throw. Gathered by Brzezowskis. Here's Pavlyukanek. And blocked by the feet. Kawashima. So you might have heard they're blocked out. That means the ball's blocked, but the side that makes the save keeps possession. It's either blocked out or ball over, in which case possession transfers to the opposing team. Blocked by Brzezowskis, nearly went past Pazarowskis too, but keeps it out. Pazarowskis blocked by the legs. And pass to Kaneko. Slightly slower ball. Here's Pavlyukanek. 6 Paralympic Games for Lithuania. His first was for Sydney. Sorry, was in Sydney in 2000. So he's been part of the Lithuania setup for some time. Here's Sano Yuto with a rotation throw. Brzezowskis to Pavlyukanek. Starts off court, and it's blocked by Sano Yuto. You're allowed to start off court as long as the ball lands within the court, and it did there, so it's a legal throw. Here's Kaneko. Slightly slower bouncing ball. He scored 7 against Algeria, Kaneko. He's one of the tournament's top scorers. He responded very quickly there, not quite on target. One of the great things about goalball, it's rapid pace and players very quickly go from defense to attack. Well, penalty's been called, so Japan have an opportunity to make it 2-0. There's a long ball called, so it means rather than bouncing in the neutral area of the court, it bounced in Japan's area. And Genrik Pavlyukanek now has to defend the penalty that he gave away there. And it's going to be Sano Yuto to take. Dummy from Kawashima, but it's well saved. And Lithuania have a reprieve. So it was Sano with the throw, while Kawashima did a dummy on the opposing wing, trying to confuse the opponents, but it didn't quite work. And the Japanese lead remains just the 1 goal. Here's Kaneko, rotation throw. It's blocked by the centre, Brzezowskis. Pavlyukanek goes cross court. Well, between all 3 Japanese players, they kept it out. Here's Sano Yuto.
Quiet, please. Play.
Here's Pazarauskas. Blocked again by Kaneko.
Quiet, please. Play.
Kaneko with the throw. It's Brasowskis to Pavliakanek. Underarm. Pavliakanek's throw is usually a bit more straight, whereas his teammates prefer the bounce. Oh, that was close. Just stopped short of the goal line there. Pazarauskas with the save. All of the ball has to go over all of the lines, so that wasn't a goal. And Japan have possession through Kaneko. Rotation throw. Blocked by Brasowskis. Here's Pavliakanek. It's a real straight bullet of a throw he has. A really good contrast to his teammate Pazarauskas, who prefers the bouncing throw. Creates real variety. Here's Pazarauskas with that bouncing ball. Blocked by Kawashima. You heard the Japanese team making noise there. Perfectly legitimate tactic. It's a way to confuse and distract your opponents. Sano Yuto. Rotation throw. Blocked by the legs of Pavliakanek, and it's off the bar. Good save. From Pavliakanek. And Pazarauskas from the other side of the court. Just wide of the post. Here's Kaneko. It's blocked by Pavliakanek. Number 7 to number 7. Pavliakanek. Rapid response from Sano Yuto. Oh, and it's been called as a penalty. And now Lithuania have the chance to make a difference. One-on-one. Sano Yuto, he got up to throw quickly, but didn't quite have the accuracy there. And for most penalties in goalball, if you give it away, then you have to defend it. It's Pavliakanek, but it's saved by Sano Yuto. Well, he took a position up court to try and narrow the angle. And a timeout's been called. Well, about halfway through the first half. It's been quite a low-scoring game by goalball standards, but plenty of chances, especially those 2 penalties, one saved by either side. And both coaches just using the opportunity to give some tactical advice and allow the side to regroup. You can only call a timeout in goalball if you've got possession, so that would have been a Japan timeout.
Quiet, please. Play.
It's Kaneko Kazuya. It's the dummy from Kawashima. There's Kaneko, blocked by the legs of Pazarauskas. Rotation throw. Comfortably gathered by Sano Yuto. Slightly slower, bouncier ball. But easily blocked by Pazarauskas. Here's Pavliakanek.
Quiet, please. Play.
That's Kaneko to respond. Rotation throw. Blocked by Brzezinski. Here's Pazarauskas. It's blocked by the legs of Kawashima. Originally played basketball, Kawashima was scouted by a teacher who was involved in Japanese goalball. Oh, and Japan have two. Japan extend their lead. And it's courtesy of Sano Yuto. Well, it was a good effort from Pavliukanek, but his legs just couldn't connect. And now Lithuania will take the opportunity to have a timeout. It's actually Goalball's 75th anniversary. It's formed in 1946, a way of rehabilitating visually impaired veterans who came back from the Second World War. And since then, it's grown and it's grown. And two sides today show just how international the goalball competition is. There's strong sides from all across the world. Here's Pazarauskas. Rotation throw. Blocked by Sano Yuto. Back to Pavliukanek. Here's Sano Yuto. Just scored for Japan. Can he add another? He gets so much bounce on his shots, Sano Yuto. It's quite difficult to deal with. Here's Pazarauskas. Well blocked by Kaneko Kazuya. Kaneko just moving across court. Blocked by Brzezinski. Pavliukanek. And Lithuania are on the scoreboard. Genrik Pavliukanek, the Lithuanian goalball legend. And he closes the gap and makes it 2-1.
Please. Play.
Here's Brzezinski. Pazarauskas. Here's Kaneko Kazuya. Rotation throw. Gathered by Brzezinski. Pavliukanek. Well, real force on that, and can Kawashima gather it? Yes, he can. If the ball had gone the other side of that line, it would have been Lithuanian possession. Now it's Brzezinski's turn to chase. And he too rescues the ball. It's Pazarauskas, blocked by the legs of Kawashima. Here's Kaneko, the rotation throw. Well blocked. Pavliukanek, and it's Pavliukanek to throw. Blocked by the legs of Kawashima. Sano Yuto goes cross court. Blocked by Pavliukanek. Well, Pavliukanek said he was going to retire after Rio 2016, but he's back here in Tokyo and he's performed very well today so far. Kaneko from centre of court, slower bouncing ball, but doesn't quite come off for him. It's left-handed Kaneko Kazuya. Creates unexpected angles. That's a real bullet from Pavliukanek. Here's Sano Yuto. It's well recovered by Mantas Brzezinski. Here's Pazarauskas. By the legs of Kawashima. Here's Kaneko. And Kaneko Kazuya makes it 3 for Japan.
Goal, Japan. 3-1.
And it was the underarm ball. You can see the spin and the bounce that he gets on it. Mantas Brisauskas couldn't keep it out. And Japan in front of their home crowd, some invited school children who are in with us today. And they've seen a really strong Japan performance so far. As Pavlyukanek just puts it wide of Kaneko's post. Sano Yuto. Here's Brisauskas. Pavlyukanek. It's just saved there by Sano Yuto, just got his fingertips to it. Well, you saw there Sano Yuto just saying in that dive his eye shades were dislodged. And because he's not allowed to touch them himself, the officials will come on and just make sure everything's as it should be. Well, in fact, I think he's called for a wet floor there. So you saw the people coming on to give it a bit of a sweep. So because the players are moving around on their hands, it means hands can get sweaty and the court can get slippery. And so to avoid any injury, sometimes the players will call on for someone to just give it a bit of a wipe. Here's Kaneko Kazuya. Pazarauskas. Rotation throw, a lot of bounce on that. Blocked by Kawashima. Kawashima making a bit of noise there, bit of whistling. And you may also notice Japan very fond of using kind of dummy throws and dummy moves, and it's all ways of just distracting your opponents. Pavlyukanek's shot well guarded by Kaneko. Just 1:36 left of this first half, and Japan have a narrow but significant lead. It's blocked by Brisauskas in the centre. Here's Pazarauskas with his bouncing delivery. Blocked by the legs of Kawashima. Sano Yuto. Pavlyukanek. Rapid response from Kaneko. And the aim wasn't quite there, but he's so quick in the way he moves around the court. Pazarauskas by legs of Kawashima. He's one of the youngest players in the competition, Kaneko Kazuya, and he's got bags of energy. You see Sano Yuto just scuffing his feet there, create a bit of noise. Pavlyukanek, blocked by Sano Yuto, rapid response. Perhaps too quick, didn't have his bearings, and ball goes out for Lithuanian possession. Japan perhaps about to make a change. Miyajiki Koji getting ready. He's a left wing, so perhaps a swap with Kaneko. Now Japan have a chance to finish this first half with a goal. It's Brisauskas. Pavlyukanek. It's blocked to Japan. Just a few seconds to get the ball away. It's Kaneko Kazuya. And that will be the end of the first half. Well, it was a very evenly matched encounter. but it's Japan who have a slight lead. Kaneko Kazuya with 2 goals, and that's the difference between these two sides at the half-time interval. Hard to believe, Japan, their first time in the Paralympics men's goalball competition. And the half-time score, Lithuania 1, Japan 3. Welcome back to the second half. Let's have a look at some of the vital statistics. 3-1 Japan, 1 penalty apiece. So not many penalties, good discipline from both sides. And otherwise things look pretty even. Except for the one that matters, the score, where Japan lead by 3-1. Well, Lithuania won every single game they played at Rio 2016. World number 2. But it's Japan who've looked like the better side. So Japan coach Kudo Rikia. Lithuania not making any changes at half-time. And it looks like we saw Miyajiki Koji just warming up before. It looks like he's coming on, replacing Kaneko Kazuya. Kaneko really does hair around the court. He's full of energy, and a confirmation of the change there, and perhaps needing a little rest. I'm sure we might see more of him later in this second half. Miyajiki Koji only started competing about 3 years ago. He's been excellent in this tournament so far.
This is the second half between Lithuania on my left and Japan on my right. Half-time substitutions. Sorry, half-time score. Lithuania 1, Japan 3. Half-time substitutions. Japan out number 7, in number 8.
Japan substitution, play round number 7, play number 8.
日本の選手の交代です。7番の金子選手に代わりまして、8番の宮地選手が入ります。
Quiet, please. Center.
So a new arrival on the left wing for Japan, Miyajiki Koji. It's Sano Yuto to get the second half underway. Ball over, so it'll be Japan possession. Here's Miyajiki Koji. Rotation throw. Well, it's blocked, but it's in. Justas Pazarauskas couldn't keep it out. And it's Miyajiki Koji. Just seconds after he came onto the court. And he's made an immediate contribution for Japan. Only 10 seconds into his appearance, he's on the score sheet already. Here's Sano Yuto, by the legs of Pavlia Kanek. And it's ball over, so Japan possession. Miyajiki. Pazarauskas with the block. Well, he just slipped there. I think there's a wet floor. And so the officials have called just for it to be wiped a bit. Don't want to risk an injury. These players moving at very fast speeds, and the courts are not cushioned. They are hard, so if you fall in an awkward way, you really can cause an injury. And just a chance for brief pause, bit of coaching on the side. Coaches aren't allowed to give instructions while the ball's in play, so they really have to choose their moments. It's Pavliakanek. Oh, real power on that. But it's blocked by Sano Yuto. Rotation throw. Oh, well, Pavliakanek. Well, Pavliakanek struggled to get the ball away, and Brysauskis forced to put it out. So you have 10 seconds to make a shot in goalball, and Lithuania had used up almost all their time, so forced to put it out. Now Japan have possession. Thinking is it's better to give away possession than have a 10-second penalty where it's one-on-one. Here's Pazarauskas. Kawashima. Sano Yuto. Pavliakanek starts off court, trying to narrow the angle. Blocked by Kawashima. Now it's Miyazaki. It's wide. Japan looking comfortable. 3 goals they lead. Pazarauskas. Gathered by Miyazaki. So substitute. Now Sano Yuto. And it's Sano Yuto who makes it 5. And Japan are starting to run away with this Group A match. And it's the second goal from Sano Yuto.
Substitution Japan. Out number 3. 7. Lithuania. Out number 3. In number 1.
Well, that is the second goal from Sano. 2 from Kaneko and 1 from Miyazaki. And now Lithuania making a change. Pazarauskas coming off. It's Montvidas coming on, his 4th Paralympics. His father represented Lithuania in goalball in the Sydney and Athens Paralympics, so experienced goalball family. Oh, it's a goal, but it's been called as a penalty. And Pavliakanek concedes the penalty for the long ball. Ball bounced in the Japanese area of the court. And now he'll have to defend this from Sano Yuto. Sano Yuto. And it's 6-1. And Japan really showing their quality and why they're top of this group. It's a group that contains some of the best goalball teams in the world: United States, Brazil, Lithuania. And that's the 3rd goal for Yuto Sano. Lithuania coach there, Valdas Gesavicius. Started his career in Lithuanian basketball. And he's been with the goalball setup for 2 years. Here is the substitute, Montvidas. Here's Miyajiki Koji. Got by the legs of Brzezowskis. Sano Yuto moving cross court. Locked and just held on the line by Montvidas. Miyajiki. Pavlyukanek. Blocked by Miyajiki. Here's Sano Yuto. Pavlyukanek. Strong defense from Japan. Japan are very interesting to watch. They move interchangeably between positions very easily. Makes them very hard to defend. And they've shown there how hard it is to defend from Japan and from Miyajiki Koji. Rotation throw just between Montvidas and Brzezowskis. And that's the second goal for Miyajiki Koji. Montvidas. Sano Yuto. Yuto with the throw. Blocked. Up to Montvidas. Blocked by Sano Yuto. Now we've got an equipment check. Usually means either an eye shade's been dislodged or something on the court. And it looks like they're just giving the court a wipe.
White, please. Play.
Here's Miyajiki. Montvidas. Rotation throw. Out to Sano Yuto. Yuto. Blocked by substitute Montvidas. Montvidas in his 4th Paralympics, and he goes cross-court with a rotation throw. Blocked by Sano Yuto. Brzezowskis. Pavlyukanek. Lithuania's only goal scorer so far, and between Kawashima and Miyajiki, they keep that one out. And now it's Japan's turn for a timeout. We've got a very comfortable lead. And they are in a really strong position for the knockout stages. 4 teams qualify out of a group of 5. Japan are facing having 3 wins. And Lithuania really need to lift themselves now. Reminder that in goalball, victory or a lead of 10 goals would mean the end of the game. We're not quite there yet, but currently 6 at the moment, so we have had a few what's called mercy rules in this competition so far. And it shows just how strong this Japanese side is. It's Miyajiki. It's Montvidas. Sano Yuto. It's blocked. Brzezowskis in the centre.
in number 2.
So Lithuania making a change. Mantas Brasauskis, the centre, coming off. He's going to be replaced by Arturas Jonikaitis. It's his first Paralympics, and I'm sure he would have wanted to come onto court in rather better circumstances. He'll take that centre position. Javier Kanek, put by Sano. Jonikaitis. Javier Kanek puts all his energy into that one, but can't get past Miyayuki. Blocked by the new centre, Jonikaitis. Javier Kanek. Here's Miyajiki. Sana Yuto. Javier Kanek, rapid response from him. And Sano returns, but just off balance, and the ball goes out for Lithuania ball. Montvidas. Here's Kawashima. You can hear a bit of musical accompaniment from Japan. We've had all sorts in the tournament. We've had even had We Will Rock You in another game earlier today. You can use almost any form of noise to distract your opponent, as long as it's respectful. And Lithuania making another change now. It's Pavlia Kanek coming off, and Marius Zibolis, the Lithuanian captain. He's 46 years old, his 5th Paralympics. Definitely the most experienced member of the Lithuania side. Although Pavlia Kanek has 1 more Paralympics on him. 6 from Pavlia Kanek, 5 for Zibolis. Zibolis is the statesman and the captain of the team. Montvidas. Miyajiki. Rotation throw. And it's just blocked short of the line. See the goal judges there, either side of the goal, but their hand remains unmoved. And with the first throw from Marius Zibolis, this goes wide. Here's Sano Yuto. Bit of a dummy there from Miyajiki. The ball lands off court. But it really is a very pacey game, Goalball. There's balls in play almost all the time. Makes it very exciting to watch, but very tiring to play. Really is a physically demanding sport, throwing themselves around. Some of these players, they'll throw the ball at up to 60 kilometers an hour. And Lithuania take a timeout. Well, timeouts are used for many different reasons. Sometimes trying to disrupt the flow of opponents, chance to regroup, chance for a bit of a rest, or to plan some moves or strategies. See, it's not just one player who makes the throw, it's a whole team effort. Saw Japan dummying and faking shots and moving around the court for a distraction. I heard Japanese school children who here as invited guests today. It's great to see the younger generations getting into goalball. Many of them, I'm sure, their first time. If it's your first time, we hope you've enjoyed it. And there's plenty more to come. Here's Miyajiki. Sano Yuto. Here's Zibolis. Sano Yuto. Quick response from Yanakaitis. Ends with Japanese possession. So Lithuania just have 1 point on the board. Really battling for that fourth qualification spot with Algeria. And they'll likely need a result from their remaining game. Here's Montvidas. Although with qualification, sometimes it comes down to goal difference, so every goal counts at this stage. And it's another goal from Japan. And Lithuania's difficult match today continues. And it's that man, Sano Yuto, again, with goal number 3. Goal number 4, sorry, for Sano Yuto. Scored so many, it's hard to keep track. Seven goals, Japan lead. Just 4 minutes left of the second half. Japan's goals, 4 from Yuto Sano, 2 from Kaneko Kazuya, currently on the bench, and 2 from Miyajiki. Here's Zibolis. And it's another goal for Japan, and another for Miyajiki Koji. And Japan's lead extends to 8. And we're getting very close here to a premature end to this game. And Lithuania call the timeout, lots to do. Lithuania have made lots of changes. As we look at Yamaguchi warming up there, might be seeing him come on the right wing. Perhaps resting Sano Yuto for the later stages. Here's Zibolis. Just rescued by Miyajiki just before it goes over halfway. Sano Yuto by Yanakaitis. Kawashima. Miyajiki. Yanakaitis. Here's Sano Yuto. Rotation throw, put by legs of Zibolis. Zibolis. Miyajiki. Miyajiki with the throw, blocked by the legs of Yanakaitis. Montvidas. Japan now making a change. And it is Yamaguchi for Sano. And Sano has been absolutely superb today. Scored 4 goals. And he's being replaced by Yamaguchi Ryoga won the Goalball World Youth Championships as a student when he was at high school in 2013. Here's Yamaguchi. Rotation throw. It just lands out of play. Here's Zibolis. And you can hear how happy Japan are about that. They know they've got this game secured. Just a matter of playing out these last 2 minutes or even sooner. Should they get 2 more goals and Lithuania fail to respond. Mind a 10-goal lead would mean the end of the game. Here's Montvidas. Kawashima. And Japan just putting it out. Didn't want to risk a penalty for taking too long on the ball, and so they've passed it over to Lithuania. Here's Montvidas. Yamaguchi. And Japan make it 10. Yamaguchi Ryoga, he's just come on court. And what an impact he's made. Replacing Sano Yuto, and he's just as effective. Japan just a goal away from ending this game. Kawashima. Miyajiki. The throw, bouncing ball, blocked by Yonakaitis. Miyajiki. Yamaguchi. Montvidas. Kawashima. Yamaguchi. Blocked by the legs of Yonakaitis. Montvidas. Bouncing ball. And Lithuania have one back. Well, a consolation goal from Montvidas, but they all count, especially with goal difference so important in these goalball groups. And Yamaguchi just couldn't get behind it. And it's Montvidas with his first goal. Miyajiki. It's the block. Yonakaitis. Blocked out by Miyajiki. Here's Yamaguchi. It's just tipped over. Here's Zibolis. Lithuania going for the dummy as well. But here's Yamaguchi in the last minute. Rotation throw. Here's Yonakaitis. Blocked by Kawashima. Here's Miyajiki. Blocked by the legs of Montvidas. Montvidas blocked by Yamaguchi. And now Japan call for the timeout. Lithuania managed to get another goal on the board. Could be crucial when determining who qualifies for the quarterfinals in just a few days. Japan will be thinking about, with their qualification secured, trying to finish as high as they can in the group. Reminder that first, this is the higher you finish in the group. You face someone lower in the group, in the other group. So every match counts, and finishing first is obviously the best thing you can do. You'll likely finish 4th place in the other group, so Japan with every incentive to keep going. Zibolis blocked by Kawashima. It's Miyajiki. Held by Pavliakanek. Sorry, Montvidas. Here's Kawashima. 10 seconds left. Japan will take all the time in the world. Miyajiki. Final throw from Lithuania, but they don't have time. And it's a brilliant victory from Japan. Their first Paralympic Games in the men's goalball competition. But they have been absolutely dominant today and all throughout this competition. And they, from start to finish, looked absolutely superb. A tough day for Lithuania. Still just the 1 point in the board against Algeria a few days ago. But it was a great match of goalball. Both sides can be very proud of their contribution. And Japan, in front of their home fans, secured another victory. And they must look like one of the favourites to be on the medal podium in a few days' time. Well, thank you very much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed. This was your first taste of goalball. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you'll join us for more matches to come. Final score here at the Makuhari Messe. Lithuania 2, Japan 10. Well, Japan are deserving every bit of applause they're getting from the invited guests here, local school children, getting their first taste of Paralympic action. And their confirmation of the final score. 10 goals for Japan, 4 of which came from Sano Yuto on the right wing. And let's take a look at the story of the match. 10 goals to 2. And it was a very comprehensive victory indeed. Very even numbers of throws, but Japan simply more clinical with the ones they had. They really took their opportunities, and they have so many attacking threats with Kaneko, with Sano, with Miyajiki. They really do pose a big threat. And here are the Group A standings. Japan consolidate their lead at the top of the table. 3 games, 3 wins. Meanwhile, Lithuania at the foot of the table. But still all to play for. 4 teams will qualify from this 5-team group. So it will all come down to their final match. Really is a very difficult group. Brazil, USA, Lithuania, the 3 medal winners from Rio 2016. And makes Japan's achievement all the more impressive. Well, thank you very much for joining us here at the Makuhari Messe. Final score, Lithuania 2, Japan 10. Thank you very much for joining us. This Group A match between Lithuania and Japan. Lithuania, world number 2, reigning men's champion, but just wasn't quite their day today. They haven't had the tournament they might have hoped for. Just 1 point from their 3 matches so far. Japan, meanwhile, in front of their home fans, looked absolutely incredible. Really one to watch for later in the tournament. The attacking threat of Kaneko, of Sano, defensive skill of Kawashima. They really have impressed in this Group A, beating some very established, very recognized teams with a great goalball pedigree. And in their first tournament, they really are the ones to watch. Thank you once again for joining us. That final score, Lithuania 2, Japan 10.